Hello and welcome to another video. So I had mentioned in my last video that we were going to have another Lion Bunny deck that was a slight variation on the first one, and this deck is it. It's running a very similar engine, just with a couple of trade-offs. I think we're running goblins instead of that D4 drop, of course, draw cards and things like that, which are still okay. We are running a double the Sister of Judgment and things like that too, but overall I found this deck was probably a bit better, since it does end up getting the lines a bit faster and more effectively. And then of course St. Hairs is still just an amazing card and can't really go wrong with it, so we're going to get right into this and check it out. So first up we are playing against Rune. I haven't seen a lot of Rune around lately. It's kind of died off since Portal's become quite a powerhouse. Rune just doesn't really have a leg to stand on as far as deck lists go in rotation. Everyone was still worried about the Mysteria meta, but that's pretty much gone at this point. I really haven't seen any Mysteria decks for at least the last week. So starting off, not a lot we can do. No real good turn 1 drop and nothing to really play. Turn 2 is looking much better with the Temple Holy Lion, which does allow us to, of course, play our Holy Lion Crystal and whatever else we might need in the next turn if we so choose. Mysterious Knowledge isn't really a problem. And we did end up getting a Peace Weaver, which probably a little bit better than playing Holy Lions at the moment, since we can actually play 6 play points worth of cards next turn. Unfortunately, they didn't really give us an opening to do that though, so Holy Lion of Salvation it is, plus the Evo for the 0 cost Crystal that we're probably just going to straight up play, because who doesn't want 6/9 worth of stats on board with a ward? And since we've already seen one Mysteria, it's not very likely to be an issue. It does look like they're playing more of a Mysteria deck. This is probably one of the first I ever got to actually fight for a while. But Mysteria in general doesn't tend to deal well with straight up Lion decks, since Lion decks do tend to finish well before turn 10 normally. This is a nice way to clear this out though. They definitely got an alright setup. Now ideally I probably should have just went for the buff removal way instead of doing it this way, but this worked out just fine. I mean, we got the extra Holy Lions, we've got plenty of crystals in hand to use, and adding to our counter really isn't going to hurt us too much, and we can still use the Evo next turn if we need to really wipe some of these out. And there's the double Light Mage. And a Zeal of Truth. Wow, okay. Going in hard on this board. So we can do an okay job at removing most of this. It's just not going to be easy, unfortunately. The Holy Lion Temple definitely gives us an out, since we're going to have a lot more Holy Lions flood the board. And we can use another Blackened Scripture as well. And as long as we hold on to one crystal, we're actually in a pretty reasonable spot, but we do have to waste that last Evo to get rid of the 3/5, so we don't have any other big threats on board. But from here, we're basically setting up for lethal. All we need to do is get 4 damage into the face next turn, and then set up for 12 in the turn after. As long as they don't ward up massively in the next turn or so, we should be okay. And they definitely did ward here, but it's not really going to be enough to sustain them long term, since we are going to be able to go for a Holy Lion plus a Holy Lion play, clear out the wards, and go face for 4 damage. Which sets them right up in lethal for next turn, just before they can get their Ann Sorcery to go off, which no doubt they're going to have at this point. There's Ann, so no surprise. That's going to be an Ann Sorcery. But we've already got lethal. Holy Lion Crystals 3 times. We'll just end the game right here. That's what I like about the Holy Lion sometimes. We didn't get to see the St. Hairs, but sometimes you can just go straight up Lions and just win games. And it's reasonably cheap Lions. There's a few legendaries of course now, but Lions can still be cheap without running them. And for our next match we are going up against Portal. You can probably get away with running Lions, especially Bunny Lions, without running Legendary Fighter, just putting in another quite decent 2-drop or cheap cost card. You could probably also get away without Sister of Judgment. That's just a nice extra card to have. You can probably slot nearly anything else in that slot as well, as long as it works with your curve and works with, of course, Holy Lions well. You wouldn't really have an issue. The only card I probably wouldn't swap out for sure would be the Holy Lord Ector and the bunnies. They're just too much value to miss out on, honestly. You just don't want to lose out on those. So we're going all in now. We got 3 crystals, which does give us a chance to play 2 of them next turn. Since we just saw the substitution, pretty promising that they're not going to easily remove them. And we've got a bunny set up for turn 4. Couldn't ask for a much better hand, actually. This has turned out quite nice. So there's the Hamlin. It looks like they're going for the Inspired Inventor play. And they went for the double puppet. It's no surprise they went for that. We can actually go for a full bunny board. Or potentially full bunny board. Unfortunately we did get a goblin, but a goblin still isn't bad when we're going to pump these bunnies back into the deck. And we ended up with another Holy Lion Temple, which obviously, as you saw in last game, makes a huge difference to the potential that you can get. Silver Condemner, sorry. I went to say Commander. Condemner. That was a rough one to see. Fortunately for us, we're going to be able to go for our Holy Lion Crystal, at least as a double play. I mean, there's no reason to really hold them right now when I can flood the board with cards and put our opponent in a rough spot again. Especially going into turn 6, where we have Sister of Judgment. But it does look like our opponent got some very nice setup against us. Fortunately, we're going to get the buff, which if we also throw the Evo on, gives us an okay card. And we still have the Holy Lord for next turn. Oh, Lloyd, probably not the right card to go with. Other than having Bane, that's all it's really got going for it. Which ended up leading to their conceding, which was a little weird. But to be honest, it was a bit slow for them. They had no Omen. Definitely a rough match. So when both your matchups for that being Mysteria, this deck does quite well against that. Portal is usually a little more iffy. Omen, of course, is the big one to watch out for. If they do play that, you do want to put them on a clock very quickly and just quickly flood the board with whatever you can before they can really push you back, which is, of course, not that hard with this deck. The obviously really awkward spot that our opponent was in last game was the fact that they didn't play Omen. They obviously didn't have a Maisha set up, and they probably were starting to run out of Evolve points to really take advantage of before I just flood them with Temple Lions, which would be devastating, so that's exactly why they obviously avoided that situation. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, you'll find the deck list in the description below. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time, see ya.